Howdy Broncos country, Mase here with three big things from Broncos training camp on a Wednesday as they get ready for their joint practice on Thursday with the Arizona Cardinals. Big thing number one today was very much a prep day. So if you're looking for illumination on Bo Nix and how he's progressing today, it really wasn't going to be that day. There were a few completions to Courtland Sutton, including one from the 2-point conversion distance that hit in the end zone past Jaquan McMillan. There was also a play that was swatted away in the end zone by Pat Surtain, another play where he missed Marvin Mims Jr. wide into the outside. Another play where he was under pressure from Jonathan Cooper, who whipped past Mike McGlinchey on the edge. Probably the most interesting thing today came when Joe Lombardi, Darren Rizzi, and Vance Joseph, the coordinators, spoke after practice. And in particular, Joe Lombardi spoke about Bo Nix's performance last Saturday against the 49ers. And hear for yourself what Lombardi had to say about how Nix did on Saturday.
I don't know if he really made any mistakes in that game. It was just... he's hard on himself. He works hard, and that's really, as a coach, the things you get mad at is someone's not putting in the preparation and working hard enough, and that's never an issue with him. So it's just adults talking to each other and trying to get better.
Big thing number two, in that vein of what Lombardi said, he talked about the safety and what happened, of course, that put the Broncos down 9-0, and Lombardi specifically put that play on the coaches and not on the players themselves. Here's what Lombardi had to say.
Preseason's always tricky because, in a regular game, we have like 3 periods where we cover all their pressures, and just something that we weren't as prepared for as we should have been. So, not a big concern there at all. It's just a pressure we didn't have picked up that I think in a regular season we would have yawned at it. Just didn't have it as detailed as we normally do, and that's just the fog and friction of preseason games. You're just going out there running your training camp plays. You're not really game planning against the team and making sure that you have the plays that exactly match what they're doing, and just something that probably we could have done a better job as coaches preparing the guys for, but it just happens in preseason.
Frankly, notable stuff, putting that on the preparation and not so much on the players. Big thing number 3, talking about Jeremy Crawshaw, Broncos rookie punter, and his performance. Darren Rizzi went on at length today talking about Crossaw and his progress. Here's how he thinks Crawshaw is doing after not only that effort on Saturday night, the 3 punts, but just the broader sample size in general of all the practice work, something I've often referred to, of course, because you have those 3 punts on Saturday, but the Broncos have seen dozens to hundreds of punts from Crawshaw in practice. Here's Rizzi talking about how Crawshaw is faring.
Really just getting that consistency down. A lot of you guys play golf. It's like getting in the tee box there, or getting on the driving range, and you hit 5 great ones, and all of a sudden you put one in the water. And so just things with punting, your drops. A lot of it just comes down to technique. The best thing about Jeremy, one of the best things I should say, is that he's a self-corrector, kind of knows exactly what went wrong, when it went wrong. Again, I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock into Saturday night because we had 2 short fields, and the numbers can be skewed there. I really like where he's at. I'm really happy we have him. I think he's got a bright future. I know Sean mentioned something about Thomas Morstead. Obviously coached Thomas myself at the Saints, and he was just kind of very complimentary of him. And so, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, the talent's there. It's just the consistency. We got to find, his happy home there. But you guys saw, like yesterday in his punt session, he had his first 5 or 6 punts where we'll take those every time. So we got to bring that to the game field.
Sort of the big thing, it comes back to the consistency. And his last punt periods on Tuesday, he had 16 punts, and you'd categorize basically 13 of them as very good to great in terms of their effectiveness, whether you're talking about full field punts or placement type punts from midfield in terms of accomplishing their goal. 13 very good to great punts, 2 punts that were so-so to okay, and then 1 punt that was really a dud. And that's basically been the general type of rate that we've seen from Crawshaw in the punting periods that we witnessed, both in OTA's minicamp and again in training camp. But still, when you're talking about that, that's still 1 out of every, say, 12 to 16 punts. That's a dud. That's the consistency thing, and you want to get that down because coaches do crave consistency. And in that vein, there was one of the 3 punts on Saturday that ended up going pretty far back in the other direction. Now, that was on coverage, as Darren Rizzi mentioned, and he talked about that today.
We lost contain. We had a bunch of guys there unblocked, and we missed a tackle and then lost contain. And actually, Bidet and Devin Key did a heck of a job of tracking him down in pursuit. But just a couple guys get down there a little bit out of control. Just easy fix.
So the 3 punts on Saturday, one was a coverage issue, one came down short of where Crossaw would have wanted it. That was the one that came down at the 20. And then, of course, there was the 50-yarder, the one that got the result that Darren Rizzi and Crawshaw would have wanted, but that was the low trajectory punt, the short hang time of about 3.28-3.3 seconds, and that definitely wasn't what you want in a game, because more often than not, that's going to be returned. So, yeah, consistency, something that he's got to work on. But you hear from Rizzi, you heard from Trent Sherfield on Tuesday, you heard from Sean Payton. Clearly the Broncos are still in the corner of their 6th-round rookie, so they believe in him. They believe in the broad sample size. I feel like I'm talking about baseball here, and you know I'm a baseball guy if you've been watching a lot of my reports and a lot of things I've done over the years. So they believe in that type of broad sample size. They still believe in Jeremy Crawshaw. Certainly now they want to see what they witnessed from him on the practice field manifest at game time. They're hoping that will be the case on Saturday. But before Saturday, there's Thursday and the joint practice with the Cardinals, and there will be plenty to break down on Thursday when Cecil Lammey and I talk about it on Orange and Blue Today. 5 p.m., of course, we chat about it weekdays on the Denver Sports YouTube channel and the Denver Sports social channels. And I'll have my breakdown from practice on Thursday afternoon right here, so be sure and check that out. Appreciate you watching. Take care. Until next time, hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.